Is anyone else recording this besides us?
Nope.
Nope.
LakeCAM is.
Besides LakeCAM, I should say, us referring to LakeCAM.
Hey, Chris, before we get into the agenda, can I have a second? I just
Sure,
wanted
go
to
ahead,
let
bud.
people know, in the last few weeks, we've lost our old fire chief, Doug Mills, who was the fire chief here for years. And we lost Roger Hamilton, who was the highway superintendent for a lot of years here. They were both very good guys and helped make Lakeville what it is today. So I've always, Gabby started it on Board of Health meetings years ago. We always just try to recognize any people like that who've at our meetings that have passed away on us. Okay, go ahead.
All right, thanks for that, Bob. All right, first on the agenda is J-Max on the Pond, new food establishment, milk and cream license. I read over this stuff the other day and didn't see anything, nothing jumped out to me. You got anything about this, Ed?
Yeah, so the Eagles, most people know that, it's an existing establishment. We regularly do inspections there, so there's really there's no special inspection for this one. Normally we would, but since he's already being in a place that we regularly inspect, it's not doing it. It's a different cook, and they have all their licenses and things like that. They have all their certificates, so that's good. And like I said, it's in an established place, so.
Now, is this in the upstairs kitchen? Is there two kitchens there? Or just one upstairs?
No, there's one downstairs.
There's one
too.
downstairs too. but
Which
I don't
one
think
is
they
this?
And I
use
don't
it.
think the upstairs one's been open for years. I think
No.
they've only used the downstairs.
The upstairs one is where, Winging It has been operating out of, and they just stopped, and this place is, I believe, going
Oh,
on there,
that was my
right?
question. So they're winging it out.
Yeah, they're somewhat of a replacement for Winging It. They're not working out of Eagles anymore, but they still have a food
The
establishment.
truck.
Okay. All right, so this is just going in the same spot.
Correct.
Did they ever renovate the upstairs kitchen? I went there years ago and they had it all pulled apart because they were only using the downstairs one, and I actually brought somebody over to look at doing the flooring for them. So the upstairs at that time was tore apart.
It's better now.
It's better now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it was like back then, but I mean, it's suitable for cooking food.
Okay.
And they've had their inspection already?
Yeah.
So, and we have a report on it? And there's no-
So both kitchens open now, or just the upstairs one is open now?
There's one food establishment there. There's
For the
not-
whole building?
Yeah, yeah. it's
They
whole
can
building.
use either kitchen they want?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve. Is this for next year or just for the rest of this year?
Yeah, he will go on next year as well. I mean, he's getting approved now, but it will go on till the December of 2023 before he has to renew, because it's so late in the year.
Okay, yeah, we're not gonna make them pay
No,
again in
we're
2
not.
weeks?
No.
Okay, then I'll make a motion, we approve J-Max on the Pond, for a food establishment, license
And milk and cream.
and milk and cream.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, the agenda is Hare's Paw Farm, new residential food license. Or residential kitchen, I should say. And I read through this too, and nothing jumped out at me. Anything more to add to that, Ed?
No, it's just a residential kitchen. We have a number of them in Lakeville. Basically, it is what it is. You cook out of your own kitchen. There are certain, it gets inspected, and they just had an inspection, I think yesterday. They just had their inspection. I haven't reviewed the report yet, but I mean, once we go over that and check all the boxes, it should be okay. But we're still in the review process.
So it'll be pending the review and report. And
All good?
They do have town water.
Yeah, they're on top of water.
And I'll make a motion that we approve the permit for the Hare's Paw Farm at 4 Barstow Street, subject to Ed reviewing their inspection and making sure everything's up to code.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next the agenda is meet with Collins Engineering to discuss local upgrade approvals and variance requests at 22 Staples Shores Road. And George is not here.
Is he coming? No.
No,
He's not coming?
He called
I
it.
think there's just the one variance request for the reduction from 5 feet to 4 feet, because it was below 2 minutes an inch. Nothing really jumped on me in this one. Derek, you tend to grab stuff quicker since this, see it more often than I do.
Quick math here, groundwater and bottom of system. You catching that one? That doesn't look right to me.
You know what,
You
now
only
you
got 3
mention that,
feet.
I was looking at that and
You're supposed to
I
have
got
5.
sidetracked and then
4
went back to
minimum,
it.
and this is at 3 feet. Is that the correct soil log? And water table elevation? Because you got from 4303 to 4610.
So he has a foot and a half. So he's saying there's 6 inches of stone. But he's showing 47.6 and 46.10, which is 1.5 feet of stone. So I think the 46.10 is actually 47.10. I will confirm that, but if you look over here, it says 6 inches of double wash stone, but he's showing a foot and a half. So I'm assuming that's a typo.
Tank, end of this. Yeah, it says, end of SAS 4760. Okay, that's the top. Does it give the bottom elevation 4710?
Yeah, if you look at the elevation
Yeah, the
schedule, it says
elevation chart.
4710 for bottom of SAS.
So, he probably should submit a new plan or make sure that's fixed, that someone putting the system in doesn't go by that grade and have the system a foot low, because it will happen. They won't catch that elevation schedule. They're gonna look right there,
Yep, that's all they're gonna read.
and they're gonna put it into that grade.
Definitely make him correct it.
But we can improve it subject to them dropping off the plans and Ed reviewing it, right?
Yep,
If we
it's
so
just
choose
a,
to.
yeah, it's just a clerical.
Yeah.
They have the right elevation here, but not there.
Yeah, down here they have it, on this one. Right, this is right, 4710 to 4810?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just up there that's wrong.
Okay. So just that one. And yeah, I drove by there, it's up top of the hill. You're not near the school well, you're outside of everything.
Yeah, the closest well is their own, and the abutters wells, both the abutters wells are more than 200 feet away.
And they were like 170 to their own, correct?
Yeah. Pretty-
Yeah, I think the only question, I mean, this is, I guess this is just to avoid a pump, right?
Yeah.
And I was just curious, as usual with most of these, is could they raise the plumbing?
Oh, they are, yeah.
Oh, they already are? I
Yeah,
didn't
so,
know
Yeah,
that.
they're already raising it.
They're already raising
They're
it.
just trying to keep the tank underground.
Okay.
In fact, you can kind of see the contours there. It's, there's probably close to at least 3 or 4 feet of foundation showing.
Yeah.
So where he's gonna put it is actually above grade now, and then they're just gonna bring in fill to fill it.
Yeah, they're even making the mounting up around the tank, even at the grade they have,
Yeah.
to get it. Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. That's the only thing I saw.
Yeah, I'm good.
So it's a 4-3?
5 to 4.
5 to 4?
5 to 4.
I'll make a motion, we approve the local upgrade request for 22 Staple Shores from 5 feet, oh, sorry, I'm reading, from 5 feet to 4 feet for the separation.
Second?
Any more discussion?
Oh, subject to them correcting the errors on the plan and Ed reviewing them.
Second.
All right, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next on the agenda was 7 Azalea, continued discussion about nitrogen and, plan there, but
They asked for continuance,
they
right?
can ask for a continuance to January 19th meeting, right?
18th.
18th.
And that, so we would have to say the January 18th meeting and the time as well.
All right, I'll make a motion, we continue 7 Azalea to January 18th at 6 o'clock to our next Board of Health meeting.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next on the agenda was approved meeting minutes as typed for October 19th, 2022.
All 3 of us were present at that one. It's a short one. I didn't say anything. You come up with anything?
No,
I'm sure she got it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the October 19th, 2022 meeting minutes as typed.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We've said at the same time.
Sorry.
I said it.
Aye. Motion passes. Now, this is where my agenda is a little bit different from the adjusted one. It which was next, Clark Shores or Board of Health pending items?
Clark Shores, probably the water.
Clark Shores.
All right, so next agenda item would be discussion of Clark Shores water issues down there.
Okay, if I can, say a couple of things to start off. After that meeting, I asked Ed to reach out to the people that were here and ask them not to resign, realizing that it'll be a nightmare if we have nobody to contact, nobody to get us the records and all that kind of stuff, which Ed told me he agreed to. I reached out to a couple of people down there, one of them a builder, and he started telling me stuff that they were just, a lot of those water lines, they just dug them, according to him, and just backfilled them with the same junk that was there. There was no sand or anything put around them or marking that what they did do is a mess. I've been told by a couple of different people, they've only probably done 25%, 30% of what they were supposed to do. And they've run out of money. And as they told us all at that meeting, that they didn't expect to be able to keep it going too much longer. Taking all that information, I reached out to our state rep, Michael Rodericks, who has always been very helpful to the residents of Lakeville. Told him I felt that this was a mess that, in my opinion, that we didn't discuss it yet, but in my opinion, DEP made, and the state should have to pay to fix. I asked them for a three-prong approach. One would be to get the Attorney General involved, to have them look at what these people were promised, where the money went, the estimates, who was in charge of overseeing it. Second, either the Army Corps, or I think we need a engineering company to come down and look and see what has been done so far, if it's been done properly, and give us a report on what's been left to do, so prices can get done, to find out what's left to do and what it's going to take to get it all squared away for the residents. And then third, because the state doesn't do anything fast, I told them they were going to need to come up with a short-term stopgap program so they don't shut it down, that they, until all that stuff got squared away, if they're running short on money and if they have to put somebody in charge of it, or we have to hire a water supervisor, that I would expect the state to come up with the money for that to help us get through the interim. Because most people know me, I would call a press conference in front of the town hall and all the major networks and say, because of something DEP did and didn't properly regulate, that we're gonna have 150 families at least down in Clark Shores who are gonna be homeless in the middle of the winter, and nobody wants that. I didn't say that to him, I didn't make a threat, but that's my feeling on this. And he told me to get the information, you know what I mean? I'm hearing things secondhand from other people. We have nothing in writing, we have no proof of exactly what's happened, all we know is from those people, but you know, at that last meeting, he made it sound like it was only a matter of a couple of months and they were gonna be out of money, so that's as far as I've gone, just trying to, and then I asked Ed to reach out to him again and have him put together as much information as he could so we could forward it along to them. So I've been doing that in the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention, but unlike the hospital that, you know, a lot of people don't know, DEP's office used to be in that tall building before they went across the street to Riverside Drive. They know the conditions over there, but that wasn't an immediate threat to anybody, I guess, in their opinion, so they haven't really picked up the ball and run with it. But in this situation, I feel something that they did could cause us to have those 150, 160 families homeless if the water does get shut off, and that's pretty serious. So that's as far as I've gone on my own. Wanted to find out how you guys felt about it and if you think I'm going in the right direction. And we'll take it from there.
I think Ed had,
Yeah, so we're actually, I'm gonna meet with, you going as well?
I think I was gonna go. I was gonna see what you guys want to do. I think I was gonna go too.
okay.
So
Tomorrow I can't. Ed told me about it yesterday. Tomorrow I can't. I got family coming in for the holidays. I gotta pick them up, but I will definitely be involved in all the other meetings that come up from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, we want to work with both the Water Corporation as well as the Water Committee, which is part of Clark Shores Association, who are also involved down there. And we want to work with all sides and all partners down there. And there are a number of NGOs that they probably could work with as well to help, just to help them along through, like I said, they probably do have a difficult time coming up. And one of the benefits of working with NGOs and nonprofits is they have the ability to get grants and things like that and help them out in the long term. Like I said, that's not definite, but I think that's what I would recommend.
But it sounds like that they still owe a couple of $1 million and they still get 60–70% of the project still to finish. So it's not sustainable the way it is now. So maybe they can get the grants to do it, but Derek knows he does it for a living. If they really just backfilled with junk, I've been told they've already had quite a few leaks down there of the new stuff because they did that. Again, a lot of the stuff is secondhand, well, firsthand to me, but now it's secondhand telling people.
Well, it goes back to when the project started and we were in Stantec was on, they had somebody on site and then eventually they weren't getting paid, so they walked away. And at one point there was supposed to be a supervisory engineer either appointed by either Stantec or by the corporation. They're supposed to be there making sure they were doing the right thing, and that wasn't happening all the time. This goes back 2 years, 3 years now, right? Maybe even longer. So yeah, it's been a mess, but because we weren't the approving authority, it's hard for us to keep track of anything on the top of that too. And, you know, and Ed and I have been talking more about it too, and he told me about the meeting and, what you brought up to start this off, like, yeah, that's probably what we were at too. I was just, between tonight and tomorrow, get as much information as we can to go forward, and be able to talk about it amongst ourselves too. Yeah, the big thing is, you know, that my concern was them, you know, the quotes we were hearing last meeting
Like,
of, you know, let it burn. That's not good. I don't think they understand what that means for them.
Wells tied, water lines they have tied in? Do you keep count on that?
I think in the wintertime they have 63. There's probably another 55 or so in the summertime, so you.
One of them told me there were like 150 people tied into that already. No, they didn't say if they were year-round or seasonal, but.
Yeah, so about half of them are seasonal.
Yeah.
So, this is the lean time, I guess, the winter time where you're only getting about half the revenue that you would normally get. So it is the difficult time, and like I said, the summertime helps, but like I said, they're clearly in some financial trouble.
And I think that the other big problem down there is what they have run for water mains, people aren't hooking onto it. They're stuck on the property, but people aren't hooking onto it, so.
Yeah, so there's definitely people with wells who don't want to hook in, but there's a lot of people who do want to hook in right now, and they can't.
Further where it's not, right.
Yeah, but that's just it. They're not extending the main, but there's definitely, we get a lot of calls at the Board of Health about, okay, when are we going to get water and things like that. And it's not up to, like I said, it's not up to the Board of Health, but there are definitely more customers available who want to hook in.
Now, is there any way with the state gets involved or something, they can be made to hook up? I mean, that's the whole point of doing this, is to tie into this water system.
I mean, I don't know that.
They don't have the.
My issue with this from day one, when I first heard about it a few years back, was that it's a private company. I mean, we've all seen on the news, the power companies and all the, you know, natural gas companies, they all have to go to the State House and say, this is why we need to raise the money, and this is it, and there's checks and balances. These people are just hooking up to some private company that I've seen nothing that says there's any checks and balances at all, because there's no way this could have got so far. One of the people I talked to told me that they said that, well, the reason they couldn't run more line is because they hit so much ledge and they had no idea that there was a lot of ledge down there. You see it sticking up on half the lots in there. One of the streets is actually called Ledge Drive. How can you say you didn't know there was a bunch of ledge down there?
They had a giant set of sheets from Stantec that had labeled on it.
But that's one of the excuses that somebody's been given. I've also heard other things that I don't want to spread rumors, but.
When we've had people come to the meetings here going, we don't know what to do, can you give us a well? And they've said similar things at open meetings, you know, that people do.
Big question is, where'd all the money go? You know what I mean, and stuff, and that's why I think the Attorney General has to look into that. I think we need somebody to find out, you know, like, if DEP approved that in a way and they got grants that if all the people hooked up, it stayed financial feasible forever, and they're out of money and they're only getting 25% of the revenue, well, no wonder why it's failing. That's a no-brainer, but, you know, when they come here and say, we're hoping that the town will bail us out, this was not our mess. This is the state's mess.
Yeah.
They get so much money, they're sending it back to people, so the state can come up with, I think we push them hard, because the last thing they want is to be on the news and having all these families displaced because of something that happened.
Right.
You know, like I said, the hospital, they don't deal with it. I mean, short of somebody getting cancer, asbestos, or cancer from stuff blowing around over there, they've been able to ignore it all these years. But this is something that if that goes out of business and the operator just stops showing up one day, right? We got all these families in Lakeville that are homeless. That's like, you know, the news gets a lot of attention when a 3-family burns down and 3 families are displaced. Imagine what all these people are, and then you say, oh yeah, and DEP did it. We were never in favor of it, and they went around us and did it anyway.
Or we ended up with a cistern situation, like hopefully this was supposed to eliminate,
Yeah.
right? Where people are bringing water in illegally,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, running hoses to their neighbors.
running hoses to the neighbor, yeah.
Right.
All right, so we have the meeting tomorrow that you guys are gonna go and
Yeah.
find everything out.
Again, Ed just told me yesterday, but if I had known, I would have gone, but I have to get some family coming in for the holidays tomorrow.
Okay.
But I will stay very involved and go to all the meetings after tomorrow. Once I know about them.
All right, do you think that was it for me? Anything more, Ed?
Pending items,
Yeah, I think that
no,
was your next.
no other pending items.
And COVID.
COVID.
COVID update, yeah, so, hospitalizations are increasing. That's how we pretty much gauge them now. Just let them know, there are tests available. You either can get them from the government, you can send away for them. You can get them at the Board of Health, you can get them at the library, you can get them at the COA. We're trying to give them out as wherever we can. If you need them, just give them a call to the Board of Health. We'll make sure that you get some. And that's the key, especially with, Christmas around the corner. You know, it always spikes after holidays. So, if you're not feeling well prior to a family gathering, please get tested, before you go.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, I mean, I read something today that, you know, they were talking about the tridemic. Now they're calling it like the sepdemic or whatever. There's, you had COVID, the flu, and RSV. Now they're talking about 2 different kinds of pneumonia, rhinovirus, strep A, and then another type of influenza. So it's
80-something% of the hospital beds in Boston are full.
it's not just COVID, it's all kinds of stuff.
And from what I saw, it was more flu than COVID right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of flu right now. There's a lot of COVID too, but there's definitely a lot of flu. RSV is not as bad as they predicted. That's the one kind of good thing, but flu and COVID are
Right,
both.
it's just for the kids. For the kids, it is. I think children's was packed with a lot of that. But yeah, that's the other reason for using the tests. Make sure, you know, we're all gonna have sniffles or whatever. Make sure you're not bringing that one around, you know. Anyway, that's all I had for that. I think that was it, right?
Good.
I have nothing else.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.